just so you know, have I had any lipstick on my teeth? And I don't. Hello. Welcome to tonight's card reading. I am going to, hello everybody. This is Coyote. If it's your first time ever watching, well, you're in for learning a little bit about karma or to know how to look up some things about karma. And we're going to take a look at how the cards may show us how we can use karma to our best advantage. When I first asked the question, it was more like, what is for our highest and best interest for this idea around karma? How is karma for our highest and best? But before I actually show you the two cards I pulled and the cards I will be pulling, let me just give you a little bit of some information that either personally I felt about it and or switch to, as well as what some leading edger people were saying long before any woo-woo had said anything in the past 2 years or even addressed the wheel of karma, because most of these people that I'm talking about are speaking in this past 2 years, past 18 months. Whereas some of the people I'm bringing up, we're talking about this much, much sooner. And you'll be able to tell which side or which preference I have about karma. So karma is a Sanskrit word that appeared long ago in India, which has to do with their religious scriptures. And the word karma means action. That's all it really, that's the purest definition, is that it's Sanskrit and it means action. It's a language for physical, like the physical reality of action. And we don't really understand it because what mostly you've probably heard or heard someone say, well, they did something, so karma will get them later, probably this lifetime, if not another lifetime. Or you might even say, I guess I attracted some bad karma. You may even have thought it if you don't say it. I was wrongdoing here, so I've got to pay and do this now. Or someone may even be in dialogue with you and say, well, you've escaped it this time, but not next time. Or, when you have all this like good luck, and they might tell you have, the lives of cats, like 9 lives. But these are all beliefs. Bashar, 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 the Chandler, he has some different sessions on what karma really is. And I thought I wrote one of them down, which is in the description. The real definition of karma/highlights. He's probably had some more or a longer version. The version I'm mentioning is about 5 or 6 minutes long, I believe. And then there's also Abraham-Hicks. Abraham, the word out of the Bible, Abraham-Hicks. And with Abraham-Hicks, that was chosen that way because Abraham is a name that many people, most all over the world, will resonate with. Abraham being out of the Bible, a familiar name. It was the name of the group of the non-physical entities that came to ultimately talk and communicate with Esther Hicks. So in order to identify that the group of non-physical beings who have croaked or passed over, who collectively speak with one consciousness voice that comes through Esther Hicks, so Hicks, giving this sort of this relationship so that people go to that site or go on YouTube and look up information. So what Abraham through Esther says, basically, and there are 2 sessions I highlighted, they're really short, like one might be 5 or 10 minutes and the other one could be about 14 minutes, but they're short. And it's karma is misunderstood. And the other one is, I wrote them in the description, but I just wanted to repeat them for you. Let's see. So most people don't get what karma is. That's a title of one example. It's very short. And the other is karma is misunderstood. So I think karma is misunderstood is about 5 or 6 minutes long. So easy peasy. Listen to that one. And if you'd like a little bit sort of a different slant on the example, then most people don't get what karma is. So those are two. And then there's Dolores Cannon, who I love, 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 and wrote umpteen million books. And I think she was like a counselor or became a psychologist or a counselor that helped people with their emotions, especially of trauma, that they had these events buried. And she went through a period of interviewing all these people that had sort of a similar connection. And then as she started to do hypnotherapy with these people, she came to find out that all of these clients, what they had in common is they had some kind of recollection, but sometimes very conscious and sometimes buried, but disturbing things that were connected with space abduction, seeing spaceships, having otherworldly things happen to them, hearing things, and again, the most things were sights and being abducted, having missing time, maybe having something up with their body, something up with their emotions. So she became very famous and very world famous for all of this. And I feel like she was in contradiction with karma because sometimes, and this happens in the woo woo community, you have karma and reincarnation. So, and I'm just going to briefly point to what I now understand in this now time, and then what I um, felt, and then I'll go back to Bashar, and we'll come back to this full circle. So, karma and this whole connection of reincarnation, we've lived many lifetimes, many mansions, many lifetimes. We have a deja vu, we have a familiarity with things, and yet we've come back and come back. Well, the soul comes back to learn, because whether you're going through something great now or not great, or whatever you think of this world 2 year, 3 year thing going on, it's fun. It's fun to create. And the Abraham-Hicks people and some other masterful people will teach you to want to create on purpose rather than by default. Even Florence Scovel Shinn speaks about your word is your wand, and she's dedicated books to this. Catherine Ponder, she has several books on different like keys to the kingdom, different books that help you understand. There are certain passages that she uses in the Bible, for example, but they're to enhance your life. Genevieve Brahand writes a couple of books, and one is Your Invisible Powers, where you, by your thoughts and what you say, actually help manifest. And there's an exercise. It's about an hour, 2 hour free audio book on YouTube. So the names I just mentioned, Florence Scovel Shinn, Catherine Ponder, Genevieve Brahand, Abraham-Hicks, Bashar, you can always find free topics from them from YouTube. And the first three that I mentioned, Bashar, Abraham-Hicks, and Dolores Cannon, you can find them. And they were speaking to karma, but also Dolores, when I found a couple of things of her, she's incorporating reincarnation. And here's some of the big folly with this. Okay, let's say we die, we croak. Out of the body, we're free. Our soul is flying around. But we have these feelings of coming back, coming back. Okay, you don't come back because you did something great in one lifetime and you're coming back now to continue. You don't come back because you did terrible things, and so you're going to come back in a lifetime and you're going to make retribution. No, we come back as we choose to come back, and we have soul contract with the infinite mind. This is how I see it. Karma, originally in the old Sanskrit, ancient teachings, are about the physical action that we take that helps us to connect really with our higher self, helps us to do best for us. And then when we take certain actions, when we do karma, it feels good or it doesn't. So we may decide as we go along to do other actions. it's really just helping to build us and to bridge us and connect us with our higher self. It has nothing to do with taking our whole of our lives and the clump of stuff we didn't like so much that we felt we caused, and then having the chance to come back to fix things in a whole new body, in a whole new platform of springing off to create. And especially like you did something wrong, so say invisible self, and we're going to come back and fix it. There's no such thing. You don't take karma into each lifetime. Now, I had heard this a long time ago, and that made a lot of sense to me. For example, for many of you who just believe in Jesus Christ, God, you believe in, oops, you believe in a consciousness that loves us deeply. Why the frig would you be tossed then into purgatory or hell or temporary hell or whatever? Because we're so loved that, well, smack, come back and suffer a little bit. Or plot, 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 going on. Well, you're going to suffer a little bit because that's karma, and then we can go on. No, we create by default. We have definitions that don't serve us. We have definitions that lessen our power. And then I'm going to offer, and I may go back and forth a little bit, I'm going to offer something else. So this wheel, this whole idea of karma, which also was put into tarot cards, right? The wheel of fortune, or wheel of karma. You are the wheel of fortune. You are the wheel. You are the key. You are powered by the stars. You're part of the stars. You're part of the infinite mind. You are literally God on earth. You're a real goddess on earth. We just haven't talked that way. So we have beliefs running our biology, and sometimes some of us catch us in the stupidest of little acts, like we have a square bag, kind of flimsy, but we've got a couple of things in it, and we want to put one more item in the bag. It's a little bit too big. It might not even be square. It might be a bigger, chunky round. It might be rectangle. And then it starts to poke through the square bag that we're trying to put one more item in, so we can still carry it by the handle or by the sides or however, or scrunched, but it's just enough. It's not a good idea. We know better, but we do it anyway. And there you go. You've gone 10 feet, 5 feet, and the bag breaks or rips a bench more. And before you know it, you're just holding everything like a juggly, bunch of fruit that wants to slip out of your arms. There are many things running our biology, and sometimes we don't know until we're actually faced with something that, oh, I had attracted that to learn, to remember. Oh, I had spoken about that 2 years ago, 2 months ago. It shows up. So karma reminds us to notice our choices and to keep staying in this present now as we create. Karma shows us if we choose to observe how our life is going, what's happening, it shows us what we're staying with, what we're creating in this present now, and now, and now, and now. Every second, every moment, brand new. So it's not that there aren't consequences to our actions, but those consequences, if we've harmed, do not get carried over into lifetimes. It's all this now, and we get to decide and make peace with ourselves. Forgiveness, make peace, that's a whole nother issue. The topic of sin is a whole other issue, because sin is not really sin like the Bible or pastors would like us to believe. It's totally different. That's a whole different thing. But this thing about karma is not as awful. And no, you can't point a finger and that person is going to come back and do their karma. You have nothing to do with that. Because everybody has their own path and their own soul contracts and their own connection to the infinite mind. This is a play for us, a field for us to play. So Abraham-Hicks talks about when there's no vibrational frequency in your throat, you come back as you experiencing you and as a new vibrational frequency. Your inner being, your higher self inner being, thing that you feel when you feel feelings and you're getting like messages. You might call it coincidence if you're not feeling really intuitive, but you are intuitive because all you are is a bunch of energy. So your inner being, you could refer to as your higher self, but connected to in here, your soul, is pure positive energy, God consciousness, infinite being, infinite consciousness. So you have a connection, sort of a secret little can't see umbilical cord up, you have your own channel to the divine, and it's you, your invisible you, and then all your invisible group of people. So croaking, dying, you zap out of the physical form and you become into pure positive energy once more. And you go, oh, wasn't that great? Oh, I did that well. I might come back again and do whatever, but you're pure positive consciousness and you'll speak collectively from the pure positive consciousness place. And if someone channels you, they may get you mostly, and they will experience a feeling that was you that they remember, or you that they're calling in because they're trusting that the you they're calling in is there to share as true information that they're looking for. And so karma implies you sort of double back and carry stuff into the newer life that you choose to have, like baggage. And that's why you begin how you begin. Or after a few years, you get what you get. And there's no such thing like that. You leave the bad attitude, you leave the bad stuff, or whatever you didn't like, or whatever havoc you caused, that's done. That's that lifetime. Because the Creator didn't create you to struggle lifetime after lifetime. But the infiltrated humans, or the infiltrated bad, or the bad in power trying to pull strings and keep diversion, division, lack of unity, misunderstanding, wars, famine, pestilence, chaos, misunderstanding, misguided definitions. Can you see where they might toss in the idea of karma? So we could still point fingers and decide that we are more righteous. But here's the thing. And I learned or relearned this from Abraham-Hicks, though we've heard it in different ways before. Any one of us, me or any woo-woo person out there or anybody leading that wants to be also of service, be service of self in the sense, be service to self, to be selfish, self-fulfilled, that in your heart's intention, you are out there to be of service, that there's nothing more fun for some of us than to help others and want to make them feel good, to want to lend influence, inspiration, support, uplift. Okay, cool. But when you do it from a place of ego, when we talk about how we're doing it merely for God, because God notices good we do, then you're in ego. You're not in that heart place of pure karmic action. You're in a whole different place. So it's a whole different vibration as well. So when you embrace that you are responsible and you are accountable, you see your responsibilities as choices, and you're willing to pay or play with the consequences. And it's all about observing and choosing and making choices that uplift. I recently found a little something, maybe I have it on me right now. I found this thing, it might be from 12 Steps, I don't really know. It was, well, that's a coin. I have another thing that I found and I thought it was in here, unless I dropped it in the car. So I had this little bit of, oh crap. You know, I dropped several things today that went into the abyss of the car. but I had a little bit of a look like a coin, almost like a quarter size, and there was sort of a silhouette of a person in a yogi pose where you cross your legs in a contemplation pose. And oh, we have someone visiting. And then on the other side, it says something like, I make healthy choices for myself. And I thought, that was interesting for me to find. I thought it was picking up a quarter, and I have been finding money all morning, like a nickel and dime and penny, and thought I was finding another quarter, and I got this, I make healthy choices for myself. A message to me, but I pass this message on to you. Our karma. We take healthy action. We take action that's good for our uplift. We take action that we are responsible and accountable for. And so this is how I feel about karma, that I heard the things about karma and, yeah, don't worry, like we would soothe people, they'll get their karma. And one time that really brought this home to me was somebody in a group or a full moon meditation I was in said, yeah, but not necessarily this lifetime, which that was interesting too, because in this lifetime, when we see something bad action we had wanted, like, oh, they're gonna have to, their consequences have to pay for it, much sooner than later. But then to soothe ourselves, we've also come up with beliefs, well, if not this lifetime, those guys, that person's gonna get it next time. Don't you worry, honey. Just let it go. Be happy, blah, 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 hug the person, whatever. But isn't it interesting that the idea, this definition of pointing fingers and feeling bad and carrying this baggage into later life or their whole next born again life, that's asinine based on an infinite consciousness that loves us, and you're croaked from that body. You begin again. Now, we may have recollection in our intuition of lifetimes, of things taken, and some stuff feels uncomfortable for us, but we do not carry the baggage. And that's pretty profound and very helpful, because we're going through a time right now where there are many definitions and perceptions and paradigms of posture and programs and systems that do not work. They do not, oh, hey, Deborah, sorry, I'm just seeing you, hi, that do not hold uplift. They do not hold the most freedom. They do not hold the highest vibration. And they do not hold for you to be empowered and freedom filled and make God goddess decisions. They're limiting. Do you know there are people that do wear the mask, not all of them. They think a mandate's a law. They think a requirement's a law. They think that governor or mayor can make a law. They think that their job can make a law, but they have to show them, but they don't know that. They don't ask questions. That's part of our program in our unworthiness, in our feeling afraid. It's not karma repeated because you're stupid. It's choices. And maybe not listening to the deep one within, or the silent strength within, because at the moment we feel outnumbered, we haven't trusted our guidance system. So I thought this idea of karma is a really good topic to bring up once or twice. And I also think I've said most of my notes that I can still remember to read. And yeah, it's not retribution, because when we stay in the present, we're staying in the present. It has nothing to do with karma. Karma is just action, choices, and observing. That action itself is free will. Action itself. Did you get this? That's an action. That was part of your free will to believe that. It's part of my free will to believe what I want to believe. It's part of your free will to do as you think you should do. That's the power of us. But also, what's coming out is the power to, no matter what, do our best to be connected, do our best to learn not to point fingers, do our best to learn to release, let go judgments, because everybody has a piece of the mirror. Everyone is just doing themselves the best. So I think for now, I'm going to let go some of what this stuff is about karma. And I was trying to find the best question. And so again, when I picked these two cards, it had to do what is for our highest and best interest, to know about karma. And then I thought I was going to ask the questions of how might karma like best help us? How is this action of karma helpful to us as God beings? But I still think I'm going to pick a few more cards. I think I still end with another tarot card. So let me give you, I have no idea how this is going to play out. It may make perfect sense, and it also just may be wonky. So we'll find out. I'm going to take a paper so I can write down anything I need to write down as numbers go. So the first card I picked, I believe, I picked two. I picked an oracle card and I picked a tarot card to start. So how was karma in our highest and best interest? And I was choosing it what is for our highest and best interest to know about karma? And I meant karma in the positive way. I'm looking at karma as action. I'm looking at karma as this observance of being in our power, being in our sovereignty, being in our freedom, action, free will. So I got the portal is open, and it's in number 22, which will be 4. And it's telos. And so there's a portal to another world. There's a God telos person, and or you could interpret it as yourself wanting to go visit Telosians. This is Mount Shasta in California. It's basically saying and showing that this was a portal in part of Mount Shasta to go to other worlds and to meet our future selves, to meet actually the past. It would be our ancestors who are also our future selves, us. And I'm going to read from that, this one. So let's see. Oops, not very close. Should be very close. So there's a very spiritual card about, it's sort of like a future proves past, right? That kind of thing. Oops. I'm having a hard time finding it. One moment. Do it this way, which will lead us much more quickly. Okay, I was way off. So the portal is open. And how does this help us with karma? Ask permission to enter, leave all negative fears behind and go inside. It's time to learn more than you've gained living in 3D life school. And for me, what that part points to is, even in traditional tarot or in traditional woo-woo talk, there was all this, like, even one time someone said to me a long time ago, someone I really liked very much and was starting to take tarot classes a long time ago, and this white witch said to me, well, you did this in that life, so you're better in this life. I was burned. She just felt I was burned at the stake once or several times because I was a witch or whatever, and so in this lifetime I was whatever she said. And I thought about it then, and I wondered, mostly I was dwelling on the part where she's like, oh, like basically you were like me, but a long time ago. You were very powerful, but this was a long time ago in the medieval times. And, I could see that, but that to me would have to do with reincarnation and not karma. I don't see them as synonymous, even though they're made to look like synonymous. I don't think that at all. So to me, we can come back lifetime after lifetime to learn, to play, to create, but it doesn't have to do with you bad thing, you gotta come back and do retribution, or you rich thing, gotta come back and learn what it's like to be poor. These are choices, soul choices, I think, to learn from, but it's not meant as a punishment. It's not meant as a pointing a finger and a condemnation. Oh, the cat is scratching. I'm so sorry. Give me one moment. Kitty wants to go out. All right, honey. Okay. Okay. So let's see if I can glean anything. The history about this card is that as like, Atlantis and Lemuria dissolved, that our ancient ones had to go into a safe place, and they did not want to surface because they felt that the surface was more dangerous, and so they built cities within the mountain. So I'm taking a look at that in terms of karma. We're going to be meeting our future selves or our past ancestors, people, because we are becoming them. They are us in a sense. And I'm taking a look at the doorway is open and everything's an observation and an experience. You are not predestined to have a horrible next life because of stuff that you didn't live into this life. It's this life that we're experiencing. And then, so this is a 2, which is also about balance, seeking harmony in conflicts, resonating with peace and flexibility. Is the High Priestess, right? The High Priestess, number 2. I really like this. I've used this as my profile. So I really like that. In fact, if I look at this right now, we have a 222. So we should really see both of them together equal 6, which is basically ridding one's life of negative energy. But we also have 222, which we're going to look up what the angel number that is about. So these numbers, I think, are important. Let's see, connect to your higher self, embrace inner peace, self-love, connect to your guides, and you can do anything. Form the vision in your mind. So as far as karma goes, again, in this lifetime, in this now, you're observing, you are experiencing whatever you need to experience, which is in something I should talk about later, which is really talking and feeling that future of how we want to really have. And I am so, in this sense, guilty, I think, of being focused too much on right here, right now, and sort of an empty nest, an empty handed thing, rather than feeling that free form of my new place to be. I've talked about this, that I'm going to work on envisioning and allowing in my new place to be. But I think there's been a part of me that's been noticing what is right here that holds me back. And that doesn't serve me. Now, at the same time, I'm segueing a little bit, but at the same time, I have several car fixes which will not serve me to just jump in the car and go on the road. I'm so close on Wednesday to get 2 brand new tires, have my car detailed on Thursday. A week from Wednesday, I've got to look at oil change and have a couple of lights out, like a brake light and some other light out, interestingly, in my car. And just check out that little bit of wheel or something feels like it wants to shake a little bit, which has to do with, again, alignment. I'm driving my own vehicle, my own vehicle. It has a match up with that. But I'm just saying, since the car needs work, I need a little work. I'm finishing out letting, a body temporary thing go out of my system. So it's very interesting. I know I can't leave right now. making peace with what is. But my current situation doesn't necessarily have anything to do with karma if karma is action, not karma is retribution. I used to think that, and I felt very strongly, that the family I lived with, my blood family, that we were together in World War II, where I was tortured. And the reason I felt that was because of the controls. They didn't mean it. That's their belief system, how they were raised, and how they would fall back on the conditioning that they felt were appropriate for them to express and use and put on children. They didn't understand more because they didn't have an interest in war and observation, the things that I talk about, for example. So that might be true that I am experiencing being with them again. But I don't think it was because I was bad. Perhaps it's even forgiveness. Perhaps it's even observance. Perhaps it's a choice to just notice and allow people to be. It has nothing to do with they did something bad, I get to be bad to them. It's not anything like that. But again, I think even for myself, there was always that little bit of either contradiction or confusion because it's so easy in the past like 30, 40 years to talk of reincarnation and karma almost mixed up together. It's not that way at all. And so that's why I've left in the description where to go, like go on YouTube and go see Bashar, or go see Abraham-Hicks, or go see Dolores Cannon, and you decide for yourself what feels right for you. I am going to pick some oracle cards, and then I'm going to finish with one tarot card. I want to see if we can get 2 or 3 oracle cards that'll point to, how can our action, how can karma be seen as action to actually help us and remind us. But let's go to this, the angel number 222, because that came up. That's so strong, where this portal is open, this card 22, and the high priestess is a 2. I didn't read the high priestess, but we're going to get, let me see, we'll do that. Mystery. Some things are not meant to be known intellectually, but are meant to be experienced through intuition. This card reminds me to trust that I have access to higher wisdom and knowing when I tune in and trust my vibes. This is the time when mysteries will be revealed and I can grow as a result. So again, observation, the now, the action, the observing of action, the now, and growing as a result of all this, rather than being afraid of coming, like when I come back, when I croak off, next time, I want to make up, or I want to make up out of retribution, so I want to do it next lifetime. It's too much pressure, don't you think, to hold on to that kind of old definition? What does angel number 222 mean?
According to Psych News Daily, the blessings of cooperation, 222 means good things are on the way. In this sense, the number 222 is a sign of good things to come. Again, the number 222 can be seen as a reminder that you are on the right path and doing the right things in life. This number is also a sign of positivity, good luck, and joy.
Okay, so to me, that was a nice compliment so far to karma, to knowing that, yeah, take it a little bit more light. Notice yourself, notice actions, and know that you're being supported, and that you get to observe and redefine who you are every day and where you're going in every day to the things that you'd like to do, be, and have. All right. Let's see. So we have a couple of cards. And how can this action, how can this karma help us right here now? What's some things can karma help us in right now? How does our action help us in this now? How does it direct us or uplift us? What can we glean from taking the idea of karma as action to support us? What will that be or feel like or remind us of? Not sure. Okay, this one. So I got 4 cards on the oracles. So let's see what's going on. So I have 4 cards. One is upside down. Again, the author here does not want us to be upside down, but I'm going to read it in a sense upside down to the positive. So that's something that we temporarily forget, kind of a thing. But it's not like we're totally stuck, nothing like that. It's just kind of a temporary reminder of we may have been a little bit not as moving forward, or we need to be reminded, but it's probably a very powerful message. So the first card is a sacred gift is coming to you, which is a 14 and a number 5, which is about change and manifestation and adventure. That not only you're going in an inner journey if you choose, it may be that you're going on a trip, an earth, air, fire, water, spirit, 5. And also, when I was listening to one of Bashar's past lectures that I was mentioning in one of my previous readings, that his galactic family, our ancestors, our cousins, were giving us symbols in 5s because that's a good number for us to learn in 5s. So that was very interesting. So a sacred gift is coming to you. Karma. Well, if you think of it now and you hadn't thought of it before, to understand karma as action, choices, and observing, that in itself is a gift. And that now during these times, as we take a look at that, we know that we are not on a wheel of karma. We are not predispositioned to suffer and come back. We're not even predispositioned to suffer. That it's really important in this gift of observing to raise our vibration even higher and have more dialogues about not pointing fingers and not keeping our head in the sand in the way that you don't know what the talk is out in the world, but that you're not part of that fear generating old story. You're more like, well, yes, and I've known that. And as a lesson of experience, I'm knowing that I've taken a lot of these things that you want to talk to me about, but I'm observing and wanting to send the best out on my path right now and into the future. So a sacred gift is coming to you. This is very interesting because this is about a woman married to another culture, a dragon family, and they had to figure out how to balance. They had to figure out how to decide how to be together, what to do with their children, how to have some help so that their clan wasn't destroyed. And it's actually a very nice expressive card. It's somewhere between the throat and the third eye. It's somewhere in this, it's kind of either heart card 5, which is interesting, right? Green for heart, it's kind of green, but it's also kind of blue. It's translating almost like a sea green blue. So then we have the voice expression, and then the third eye. I think this is more blue and indigo. And it's been so long since I looked at the color of the chakras, and I'm actually trying to find people who see the color of the chakras now. I was right. So the throat is blue, currently. The 6 is indigo, the 7 is, now we often say this is violet, but sometimes the crown is, white light. We see white light coming through the crown. It's very interesting how we can take different beliefs and definitions and have be slightly off. Yeah, I always thought as the first chakra being red, second orange, third yellow, fourth green, blue, indigo, and seventh the crown of violet. But I've heard of then also white light coming through. So I'm going to report back on that because I've heard it both ways. And it's true that I do currently also use white plasma laser diamond light through my body, and then I'll take a heart shape and use that also that plasma white laser bright light to go through me. I still incorporate the rose gold flame, the violet flame, and the Christ ball as well. But I use both. Sometimes the same one after another, also infused together or just interchangeably. But that's what I'm doing, and that seems to be really helpful with either rebalancing, balancing me back if I get a little knocked off my kilter and I seem really judgmental, or if I need that sort of a feeling of protection. Those examples soothe me. But it's just very interesting what people are saying, because I heard earlier that our throat chakra color was changing. It's not that it's like blue, it's sort of a different kind of a blue. So it's very, very likely with the Schumann resonance of the earth being at least 84, and it may be higher, or 87. I've heard it something like that a few days ago. Why not? We're changing. So parts of us are changing. And then what else do I want to mention? This is triggering something else. If I think of it, I'll mention it. So this is a number 5. Earth, air, fire, water, spirit. Karma is our action now. Our heart, our throat, our third eye. In alignment, help us observe our actions. So the one that's upside down is rise to the occasion. The goddess Ma Chandi. And it's a number 6, which we've had a number 6 earlier, which is letting go of negative energies. So it's interesting that this was upside down for us today because of looking at our definitions around karma and observing instead of holding on or blaming others or thinking we're in this lifetime and things happen because of karma. Now, recently, woo-woo people were commenting that because the evil was coming down, there is no wheel of karma, that we won't be coming back to have this feeling or this knowing or this practice of you were bad, so you've got to come back this time and do XYZ. No, it won't be that. That definition is actually very debilitating. It's empowering to certain people in certain stuff, or it could be soothing. You can use it in your tarot and oracle readings to kind of point fingers and say, oh, there, you're a rapist, you're a murderer, you're whatever. They're going to pay for it. Don't you worry. You're going to get over this, blah, blah, blah. And your karma is just fine right now. Or like myself being told you've made up lifetimes of karma by being burned at the stake, or by when you were kidnapped victim at the time, you made up lifetimes of karma. That's something I would have to dive into and see, because I didn't really very much analyze that I was so bad that I would be a kidnap victim and have things happen to me, where because I did something bad this lifetime, I had more bad happen to me. It's very debilitating in a building of self-esteem to harbor these beliefs and thoughts and then want to launch yourself as an entrepreneur, or launch yourself as a good next door neighbor, or launch yourself or just be present as the good mom, the good grandmother, the good person who's just trying to do good and uplift the planet, but you've got the secret, the karma. I mean, these definitions that hold us back instead of saying things like, that wasn't the best, but yeah, I wouldn't do that again. Or, wow, I had to do that a few times and I was really evil and bad, but I don't want to do that anymore. And I do feel bad. I do feel sad. I do feel like, wow, I really got it now. I don't have to come back and feel it all again and carry some extra baggage. Think about the definitions we have. I mean, isn't there a way to do karma? And I think Abraham-Hicks speaks to it like, instead of going, what I just said, doing that kind of rampage of, oh my God, and I have to make this up, and why would I come back and experience all this baggage? It's more like the way they encourage us is, I know I'm a creator, and I know I came back to play, and I know I came back to really be uplifting to others and uplifting myself and do really good. And I'm here to observe, and I'm here to recreate. I'm here to create and have joy. I want to, feel this deliciousness in life. I really want to just get and dive in, and I really want to relish and see all there is to see. And I know that if I prepave by saying, I've got that house with the French doors, I've got that house with the claw tub, I've got that house and it's $800, I've got that house and people come to me and I do my readings and I do my healings and I'm using singing bowls and full meditations and they're coming to me and I'm guided to this place and the landlord just loves me because this land has peace to it. This neighborhood has peace to it. This neighborhood sends out a vibe of love and care because this woman showed up to watch my property, to have it be so great. Maybe I'll even sell it to her. Like, talk like this about the stuff that we want. My body is healthier and healthier, and it's better is better. Today looks a little better. Better is better. Better is better. So focus on the better. And if you start to feel like, oh, I don't know, I feel a little wobbly, I'm a little wobbly, so I'm not going to create that right now. I'm just going to be still because I know my karma is about now and I'm serving and doing the action that feels good when it feels good and to hold back, to just be restful, to just observe and be restful when I'm not ready to move forward and take more action. So this is a goddess. I forget what country that one might see her in. So there's a story of someone who went into a self journey and went into this cave and he saw this goddess. And her luminosity spellbounded him to where he had to look at all his dark parts, his own shadows, and know that him meeting her was not about blaming others in the world. It was about observing and clearing and cleaning and tidying up his inner self and inner beliefs to then go forward and be bright in the world and be the things that he really wanted to be. So this was temporarily upside down. And this just means that to me right now, we're very challenged on the planet. So we might forget to do that inner journey and point in ourselves, not as a bad thing even, but to come to peace with the shadows that we've been withholding and the definitions that really don't serve us, the ideas of others being evil on us and look at them and having those conversations, which of course we've often liked to have about finding and discovering and who did what to who. However, it's about saying yes, but isn't it interesting because we get to create and recreate and we get to launch new rockets of desire. That's a phrase by Abraham-Hicks. We get to launch what we really want. And if you absolutely listen to the audiobook of Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Burhan, there are different people who recite the book in audio version. It's free on YouTube. A man and there's some women. Find the voice you like the best. You'll get to parts where they're talking about visualizing and launching forth and how she also practiced Genevieve practiced some visualization to have and things that she noticed along her path to actually align her with who she would meet, who would become her teacher under the strangest of circumstances, who initially said no, but taught her because there was a connection that just serendipitously aligned because she was willing to take the action that was inspiring. So karma is your inspired action. Karma is your action that you get to observe and decide if it serves you or doesn't serve you, and would you do it again. That's your empowerment. That's your uplift. So rise to the occasion. And again, number 6, releasing negative energy. This is a beautiful card. Oh my God. We have 2 6s in a row. This is a number 6, right? So number 6s are showing up a lot. So we are going to take a look at number 66 as well. Okay. Fulfilling opportunities are on the horizon. So the way that karma, our action, can work for us is to fulfill us and uplift us more. We can take a look at these definitions of old that really don't serve us really, and we can remove ourselves in a sense. We can move on. We can redefine. We can reclaim. We can rejuvenate. Restart. Now's the moment. Now's the moment. Now's the moment. You're a new person. Now you're a new person. You can claim that which you want. Me too. So fulfilling opportunities are on the horizon. I'm gonna look that one up because that's a very sweet card. I'm gonna show it to you in a moment. Okay. 66 is 12. The abundance angel is just over your shoulder. Invite the angel into your life now. Just ask. She cannot help you without your permission and cooperation. And it's interesting that I got this card because today I was thinking, and I thought I heard, because I was having a moment of like where I was misaligned, and I was having a moment of something. And then I got back in the vortex or back in the balance. But it was like what I reheard was, you have to talk to us more. Well, we have the answers for you. You did ask that writer questions, but you already knew the answer that she was going to say. So you could have even told her before she even answered. You already knew it. You didn't even have to ask these questions. You just knew it. Like, I just knew some things. But it was like, okay, so I got a confirmation because in dialogue, the person told me blah, 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 and I already knew. But they were saying, we would have told you. You just asked us. And you already know before they get in the car. You have to talk about whatever. So, because they're really just wanted me to know, to have a relationship with them, to talk with them. So talk to our angels, ask them questions before you even get to the grocery store, ask them questions before you even go to the doctor. So these are things that I'm reminding of myself too, because I'm sharing with you about karma is action. Karma is observing our actions. Karma is making these choices, like in my little coin that says, I make healthy choices every day. I make healthy choices. Karma. Because karma means in Sanskrit action. And the last card, which is a number 8, infinity, because it's 44, it's divine union. So we have a spaceship, we have an example of a couple, and in this picture, their hair is wavy, and the man's hair is, or maybe even her hair, it's probably her hair. I think if I read it, their hair is intertwined. But in this picture, since his hair is only a certain length, it's got to be the girl's hair. But it shows it as a DNA strand. Of course, in our DNA is increasing, our strands are increasing because of the Schumann resonance. Sacred lineage and our divine ones watching us. So interestingly, and just as a little bit of a back story, whomever we were really created by, and I think we are out of a creation of other beings who were created by infinite consciousness and created us in such a way that we would have soul and be like them. And we were watched and we were an experiment. Also, the evil ones were watching the kinder, benevolent ones. The part that I'm not clear is how we still got a reptilian brain in our brains. Because reptilians, I don't think of them as having a soul, which is why they want to eat us or embody us, because they don't have the soul and they want to be more like us, even in camouflage, so they can mingle and take over the world. Which, of course, now that I've just said speak more vibrationally high, this is the old story. And yet, there were people that left us here to watch us and not interfere. And because we were taking on this planet, it was good. But both sides were watching. And of course, our benevolent ones, or ones creating us, couldn't really get back to help us out, is how I understand the story. And the darker versions of our ancestors wanted more control. And so these other beings could not come in and have the type of war or rescue that they wanted to. Now, that's a whole other story in and of itself. But this image speaks to those who are watching, guiding, planning in a good way, planning their rendezvous with us. Some of us have seen spaceships, some of us still see spaceships. Some people interact with galactics on a regular basis because that's on their journey, that is their now reality. This divine union and karma. Well, if we choose to, we're not going to point fingers at our reptilian cousins. We're not going to point fingers of blame at our benevolent cousins. We're going to just still take action, be accountable, be responsible, show up and experience consequence because of action, and know that karma is now. And that, in a sense, the future will prove the past. And that we're going to all be united. And if you're choosing to be on this planet, at least another 2 to 12 years, so much more is going to come out. I don't know exactly how it's going to come out. Sometimes I wish it would come out, bam, right all in our faces. But it's going to be interesting how it comes out to teach us. So sometimes the cards make real specific sense. I think they made okay sense in terms of what I'm feeling right now about them. And I just also think that these cards are just reminding us of our divinity, reminding us that we take action, we are accountable, we are responsible. We need, if you choose to grow more, journey in to journey without. And that our definitions, our words, need to be even more uplifting and guide us into more of our health and happiness, and not to be held back by these old beliefs of karma or reincarnation, and to take a look at what others have said about it if you're interested, so that you can navigate your path and come up with a definition for you and see if it resonates for you, to help you launch you forward, to help you keep you in a higher vibe in this now moment, rather than a falling back into old beliefs of worriedness, of not being good enough, or not having to make up stuff. Or, I mean, why the hell come back to suffer lifetime after lifetime? That seems like dumbass to me. But with goodness permeating the planet and the planet going, like I said, I started to say, many woo-woo people have said the past couple of years that, this idea of coming back to suffer is a program, and being part of that program because we're too smart now, because we realize that we were programmed, and we realize that if we notice something we don't like, we're going to ask and do some let go, do some inner journey about I do not comply, I release, I let go. I don't like the word release because I don't want to sign back on for anything, but I let go, I rejuvenate, I do not comply, I rebuke, I rebuttal, I now ask for assistance to take out any debris or old programming because I do not comply, and I want this help right now, SOS, because I want to be in this now with uplifted versions and variations of my newest self that I wish. So like that. Let's pick a tarot card to end. And I did want to do number 66 as well. So what would be a last message about this karma for us and how it helps us? What would be the message about this action, about taking karma as empowerment to the next level? What can we find out? Okay, what is our highest and best to know? I need the top one. So I picked the Page of Fire. So what would be in our highest and best to know about karma? How can it really help us right now as action? Page of Fire. So let's just see. So pages represent new beginnings and being ready for something, such as changing condition or energy influencing conditions. Let me say this again. Pages represent new beginnings and being ready for something such as change in conditions or energy influencing conditions. And the Page of Fire. All right. Page of Fire, enthusiastic action, adventurousness, venturing forth, beginning a new project, acting on a new idea. I am free to venture forth, for co-creating a life true to my desire is my right. I'm finding my purpose as I take the first step into something new. My ideas have value. I dream boldly. So karma as action, as observing, doing the actions what you would choose, living with responsibility and accountability. And even from way before when I first started speaking about karma and how it's not carried into lifetime after lifetime. It just has to do with now, and then it's here to help us, that word, and teach us, and for us to like live fully from that is a powerful place. Enthusiastic action, adventurous, venturing forth, beginning a new project, acting on a new idea. I am free to venture forth, for co-creating a life true to my desire is my right. I am finding my purpose as I take the first step onto something new. My ideas have value. I dream boldly. I wish that this means something for you, this Page of Fire. And pages, I think, can be young children or represent the childlikeness in us that dares to do anything and begin things boldly with fun. Let me just even say there's something alluded here earlier. So let's just see what it says. Because I thought it talked about. So pages will be children of either sex. So they can be, childlike. They can be playful. So even if you're not a child, if you're not under 10 or 12, you could represent being a strong and have childlike qualities, playfulness, openness to new ideas, and guilelessness. That you're just like, that's just me. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to do. I'm going to think. I'm going to just move forward. That's me. I'm going to create. So that's what we can do with our karma. We can partner with action in such a way as to bring our genius to fruition and not be worried about making up time that we missed because we had big hiccups or sad hiccups or evil hiccups in ourselves, and that we're also going to choose not to point fingers anymore. We're going to do our best to keep that uplifted talk for our lives to what we want to do in service to, how can I put it? Because service to self in the sense of living your passion, and yet an openness to this service that brings others aboard in helpfulness every day, just because you're there and show up and want to have goodness for the planet, even if it's just that thought, even if it's just that you're there for your family and you just want to have good feelings to send out to your neighborhood, to send out to the planet, to overall help the world leaders wake up and be fully in tune with goodness and virtue, and that's who we're going to bring on, regular folks who aspire and will stand in virtue and goodness and truth and kindness and transparency. So no more, bullshit. There's no more bullshit complaint or conversation because it won't exist. Because even in ourselves, we're willing to dive in and have the inner journey and then just go out into the world renewed and keep working in a sort of symbiotic way with our renewal. Not in an effort way, but in a way that encourages and nurtures us. When we nurture ourselves, we're able to nurture others. So I hope that was really helpful, or at least insightful in some way. And it gives you a new way to look at karma and to not think of it as in reincarnation, that you're coming to pay back with karma. Certainly look up the other stuff on YouTube that I mentioned. See if it resonates with you. You don't have to spend a lot of time. It can just kind of even go for 5 minutes. And if you like stuff that you hear, you know that's something to put in your toolbox and bring it out as you need to each day that you might need to be inspired or reminded and to empower you in your next steps. My little coyote heart loves you. I wish you goodness and that I truly wish this was super helpful. Bye-bye. Activate that power within.